So Wednesday, October 30th, I'm back in Kingston after docking the boat in San Diego at Safe Harbor, South Bay, Chula Vista, to be more precise. We found a slip. Fortunately, it was more difficult than I would have anticipated to find a place to put the boat for a few weeks, and this was probably one of the only places that was able to do that. Mainly is also because of the Baja Haha, which is going on right now. So there's a lot of boats going from California to Mexico and leaving right around this time. November 1st is the first, according to the insurance companies, safe time of the year to travel past the hurricane season. So everybody's kind of teed up for that. So we found the slip. It's great. The bow is pointing south, ironically, looking at Tijuana. So she's there chomping at the bit and waiting for Tammy and I to be done with all our laying business. I came back to help her. I think I left her with a little bit too much to do, to be honest. And, we still have a house with a fair amount of stuff. And so we're going to try and clean that up and get all done, hopefully quickly. And then we'll both be heading down and continuing our journey. But I wanted to make a video of kind of experiences, what we ran into, and hopefully to leave for people who want to do the same thing, and at least sharing our experience and what we found to be unexpected, new, interesting, or all of the above. First of all, we left Kingston on September 1st, and we left Neah Bay for our Pacific crossing on the morning of September 4th, I believe, 3rd or 4th. I think it was the 4th. I think it was a great time of year to do it. I'm glad we waited that long. The winds were sometimes light, never excessive, but it was not. It was all in all, it was not a technically challenging passage. It was the wind was always on the starboard quarter. The seas were similarly coming from north by northwest. And so a lot of downwind sailing. I think we set up wing on wing on day 2 when the winds kind of finally picked up a little bit, and we didn't pull the whisker pole back in until we got to very close to San Francisco, actually. So not a lot of changes of sail, not a lot of changes of trim. I don't think we tacked. No, we didn't tack or jibe once. It was pretty much a straight 6-day on the same exact tack. But while it's not a technically challenging passage, it's a very uncomfortable passage. The rolling, even on the best of days, was significant. I don't think there was a single day that we can move about the boat without hanging on to everything, lee cloths. We should have had them in retrospect. We decided not to because there was no really heavy winds in the forecast, but the motion was always requiring bracing. We would tether in the galley to cook, and it took us a good 3 days to get used to it and kind of be comfortable with it. I don't think Emma, our dog, ever got used to it. It was so it mainly is the discomfort of the fog, the cool temperatures, the wetness at night, a lot of condensation everywhere, a lot of and just generally cool and wet, and very little visibility. So, my opinion, for our specific trip, and I know there's times when that coast is really challenging, just anytime looking at predict wind and see the kind of wind speeds and wave action that you can experience, picking the right window is definitely important. And I think we were really lucky, or we planned it well, to where there was none of that. I think the maximum wind we saw was probably in the high 20s, and going downwind was not an issue. But yeah, uncomfortable, but we got there. We actually all enjoyed it. We all got a lot out of it. We found it mentally challenging. We found that having a crew of 4 was probably perfect. I think selecting a crew of like-minded people, or maybe not with the same opinions, but willing to share and discuss, was really, really important. There was no drama on board ever. I think we all got along fantastic. We had very interesting conversations, very interesting discussions. We originally decided to keep politics out of the boat, and I think we mostly did that. But being that close to the election was a little too tempting to jump into it. Not that we ran out of things to say, but we just kind of ended up there because there were some differences of opinion. But it was a bit of a model of how to do it right. Anyhow, we got to San Francisco in just under 6 days, by a couple of hours, and we ended up in Sausalito at the Schoonmaker Marina. So beautiful marina, great place, super accommodating harbor master. The facilities are really good, bathrooms, showers, everything is clean, and we found a lot of people from the Northwest. Actually, I think there was at least 4 or 5 other boats doing what we were doing, so it was good camaraderie. It's close to downtown. Close to downtown Sausalito, that is, to restaurants, grocery stores. So we had a nice few days of R&R experiencing the town. Once, I think we got there on the 7th, or no, we got there on the 9th. And after my crew left, I wanted to anchor. And so Kevin, our buddy boat, and I anchored out, and we found, to our surprise, that there was nowhere to put our dinghy. We could anchor. There was a beautiful anchorage, but there's no dinghy docks. They don't have that. So, like I said, the harbor master was accommodating, so we were able to kind of shove it here and there. It's a small thing, and as long as we were out of everybody's way, everybody was willing to close an eye. But we couldn't quite understand why there was no provisions for it. I received information from somebody at the Pelican Marina, which is just south of Schoonmaker, and apparently there was a problem, big problem, with derelict boats. People that homeless or in other difficult situations who were at anchor would come ashore, leave their dinghy anywhere, to use his words, dumpster dive, and leave a mess for everybody else to clean up. And this disallowing the dinghies to come ashore was their maybe a little heavy-handed solution to the problem. I felt that the problem was solved for the town, but it was creating a problem for the cruising community. Maybe a little more thought going into that would have been helpful. But other than that, it was a great experience. We would find that is a very common issue with California. We left from Sausalito on the 14th, I believe, of September, and went to Santa Cruz, just to find out that it was the same. There was a good anchorage, but there was no place for the dinghies to dock. So the only option, which thankfully was available, was to put the dinghy on shore on the beach and go do your business in town and then pick it back from there. Now, a little, we're Puget Sound cruisers or Puget Sound sailors. I've been one for over 20 years, and you kind of get used to that. Always being within, probably within an hour of safe harbor and a place where it's easy to do whatever that needs to be done. The Pacific Coast is not that. It's usually a half a day or a day from the next place that is accessible. And the other thing is getting a dinghy on shore in the Puget Sound is one thing. Getting a dinghy on shore on the Pacific Coast is very much requires its own subset of techniques and that I realized I didn't have. So word to the wise, we had great weather and calm seas. We still got thoroughly wet every time we got on and off the dinghy. So trying to do it and stay dry is, in my opinion, impossible. So keep that in mind. So Santa Cruz, we were able to put the dinghy on shore, leave it for a couple of hours. Fortunately, there was like a Baywatch sort of station right there on the beach that would keep an eye on things for us. So we kind of got used to it. From there, we stopped in a number of places. We went to Stillwater Bay, Pebble Beach, terrible anchorage, don't go there. Rocky Bottom, kelp everywhere that fouled up Kevin's prop, and no place to go with the dinghies. I ended up fouling my anchors in a little crevasse and had to call a diver to release it. Besides, there's unmarked rocks. I lightly struck one of them, and so if you go to Stillwater Bay, be very mindful of that. From there, we went to St. Louis, which is Villa Beach, the coast of San Luis Obispo. Same thing, nowhere to put the dinghy. They don't have a dinghy dock. The ones that exist has been overrun by sea lions. There's a lot of comments on avionics. Don't go there. Don't try to use it. The sea lions will get in your dinghy and sink it. So same thing, beach it. I got a little better at it by that time, so I didn't have to. We got to get there without too much drama. Good facilities, good town, but there's a marina. They definitely prefer people take a slip and pay the usually $2 or $3 a foot. And then world is your oyster. You have laundry, you have bathrooms, and everything else. But anchoring again was an issue here too. Going south from there, much the same thing. From San Luis, sailed in about 24 hours to Santa Barbara. You've seen my video on Point Conception, which was probably the most technically challenged point in the entire coast. Plan well, reef early. It's, as I found out after the fact, I was prepared, but not as prepared as I should have been. It's the vast majority of the time there is heavy winds and big seas and challenging ship traffic to contend with. So just that's something that needs to be planned very well. But Santa Barbara, same exact thing. Anchorage was beautiful. Nowhere to put the dinghy. Actually, there is places to put the dinghies. There's two options: 30 minutes maximum, or you can do a 30-day contract. And I think the price was pretty reasonable, but we were there for 2 days, and we had to take a slip to be able to go do our laundry, to be able to go to the store and buy some provisions. And again, it was the same story. Sorry, we don't. It's not something they do. From there, we wanted to go to either Ventura or Oxnard. Both places actually told us straight up, we really do not want people to anchor. And it was the same story all the way down Marina del Rey, much the same thing, all the way down the coast. So it's for us Puget Sound sailors and cruisers. It was a big surprise. It seems almost like the home affordability crisis and the homelessness crisis that a lot of states are experiencing is now spilling off, I think, in a place as warm as California, to where maybe getting a free boat or a super, super cheap boat to live on, much like people do up here with RVs, is maybe an option, and it came with its whole subset of problems that caused a general culture of not... I hate to say it may be controversial, but it looks like if you were a cruiser without means, we'd rather not have you. which was a surprise. We're not poor, but we're trying to save money, and that was just not an option. So yeah, it was a surprise. So and from Marina del Rey, we finally got down there. We had 2 more stops. Went to Dana Point, which was beautiful, gorgeous. Same thing. We got a slip there. It was actually not bad. I think it was $1.50 a foot. Oceanside, kind of the same, and we ended up in San Diego with a fairly reasonable slip. So, we clocked just over 1,300 nautical miles over a month and a half. We took it easy. Stopped in a lot of wonderful places. Was a fantastic experience in living on a boat, meeting like-minded people in boating communities and at anchorages and where it was possible and at the marinas. Learned a ton about the boat, about myself as a skipper, about a lot of things, and we're really looking forward to the next phase and having Tammy on board. I want to add, we had Peter Anderson and Fraser Moss, our crew, for the passage from Neah Bay to San Francisco. Again, fantastic people, great crew, super. They gave it their all. Wherever there was gaps in knowledge, it was made up by desire to jump in and learn and do the right thing. So thank you guys. That was spectacular. And sounds like Peter is going to join us again for our passage to down to the Sea of Cortez. Super looking forward to that. And I am mostly looking forward to having the next video from our boat. In the meantime, I had a chance to stop in at the Yacht Club in Kingston Cove on Friday night. It was a great welcome. Everybody was super interested in what we were doing, and that was heartwarming to see that these little silly videos that we put out once in a while are useful and people find something of interest in there. We'll see you all soon, and looking forward to having the next video from Kehaulani again. Ciao.